I said that our report raised far more questions than it answered. This requires detailed investigations on the part of the Justice Department, on the part of the FBI, on the part of the media, and that's not occurring. So why is this being covered up? Why is this not being talked about? This is a major news story because if you have all these vast webs, all these connections, this could be used as blackmail against a potential Biden presidency far in excess of anything that was ever alleged against Donald Trump.
That was Senator Ron Johnson on this program last October, warning that if elected, then candidate Joe Biden's China ties would compromise his presidency. On Friday, as you know, Biden's DOJ dropped fraud charges against Meng Wanzhou, the daughter of CCP member and Huawei founder Ren Zhengfei. She was arrested, and then she had been under house arrest in Canada since 2018 for misleading HSBC about Huawei's dealings with Iran. As we have reported, her release was a top priority for the Chinese Communist Party. Joining me right now is Peter Schweizer. He is the president of the Government Accountability Institute. He is the host of the Drill Down, a weekly podcast on corruption. Peter, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. Your reaction to the CFO of Huawei now back at home.
Well, it's another example, Maria, of basically a strategic retreat by the Biden administration. I mean, they talk tough. They claim that they're serious about the challenge represented by China. But what you basically get is retreat. And you saw that enunciated by Joe Biden in his speech to the United Nations earlier in this week in New York, where he basically said, we might have some disagreements with China, but all of that is trumped by these other issues we have to work with them on. So the bottom line is China has said consistently they seek to surpass the United States in political and strategic capabilities, and their goal is to be the supreme power on the globe over the next couple of decades. And the Biden administration says they're not a competitor, and they basically are backing down on so many positions that were staked out by the Trump administration.
Well, what is this about? I mean, is this about the current leadership in Washington not wanting to upset China, or is this about conflicts of interest that the Biden family has with China?
Well, I think it's probably both. There's no question those conflicts exist. Joe Biden himself, two of his family members, his son Hunter Biden, of course, and his brother James Biden, have received millions of dollars from politically connected Chinese interests. We also know, by the way, Maria, that Joe Biden has been a beneficiary. I mean, the Hunter Biden emails show that Hunter Biden was paying some of his dad's bills while he was vice president of the United States. So you have the conflicts with the Bidens. If you look at Tony Blinken, if you look at some of the other senior people in this administration, they too have financial conflicts of interest as it relates to China. So, my view is, why is this not being scrutinized by the media? Certainly, if you were talking about Wall Street money or big oil, they'd be talking about conflicts of interest. But for some reason, when it comes to China, they don't seem to discuss it.
You're right. We have been one of the few to zero in on China now for several years. We want to show you this text message that we were able to get. Again, all of that information on the Biden laptop, the Hunter Biden laptop, which you have in your possession. Hunter's 2019 text to daughter Naomi. And it says, "I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard. But don't worry, unlike Pop, Joe, I won't make you give me half your salary." Wow, what a damning text this is.
Yeah, it is. And, you could say, is this hyperbole? Well, the fact is, when you go through the emails, and we've been going through them, there's about 30,000 of them. We're doing it by hand. We're not just doing word searches. And what you find is there's plenty of evidence to support that Hunter Biden was paying Joe Biden's bills. We know that there were contractors that were working on Joe's private residence in Delaware while he was vice president, and Hunter and his business associates were handling the the payment of those bills. We know there were things like a private phone or several phones that Joe Biden had while he was vice president. The bill was $300+ a month. That was being paid by Hunter's business. So we know at least tens of thousands of dollars of bills thus far would have been paid. And this is illegal. You cannot subsidize a family member in politics by paying their bills.
I want to also ask you about the upcoming art shows. Hunter Biden is now suddenly an artist who thinks he can sell his art for $500,000 per painting, between $75,000 and $500,000. It was reported in the New York Times that Dr. Jill Biden has Hunter Biden's art hung up in the White House. That's pretty significant. Tell me about the art shows and what you believe this is going to yield for the Biden family. We know that the owner of the gallery that is supporting Hunter Biden says he wants to be the biggest thing in China.
That's exactly right. I mean, you have to basically stake this out to genius-level corruption. And what I mean, Maria, is that Hunter Biden previously was going around the world striking business deals. That required a certain level of transparency. If you're sitting on a corporate board, that gets disclosed. The art world is very, very hard to trace money. In fact, the Senate did an investigation in 2019 and concluded that the art world was rife with money laundering, oligarchs moving money around. So going into the art world, Hunter Biden has created a circumstance whereby he can collect $500,000 at a pop for a piece of work, and there's going to be no paper trail. And the White House says the ethics solution here, I will put that in quotation marks, Maria, is that nobody's going to know anything about anyone involved. Well, that's absurd. We know that these art deals, these art shows, Hunter Biden's going to be there schmoozing with people. We know that the man holding these art deals and showing Hunter's art has said China is a growth market where he really wants to go. And we know that this is what the Bidens have done for decades. It's really not in dispute. So this is a new avenue for corruption. The money is going to give an opportunity for foreign corrupt intermediaries who want to curry favor with this administration. And Jill Biden is displaying this artwork in the White House, which is a really nice gallery for foreign dignitaries to see the work.
It's absolutely extraordinary. Before we go, let's just put up this graphic on the deals that Hunter Biden still has in China, because we know about the infamous email that says, yeah, we're going to do this deal with CEFC and 10% held by H for the big guy. We found later that the big guy is, in fact, Joe Biden. Do you think these dealings are still going on now with Joe Biden as president? Is he making money and then holding it for the big guy when he's out of office? Is that the plan here?
Well, we know, it's a great question, Maria. We know that their finances are intertwined. The emails make that clear. We also know that Hunter still has existing ties to Chinese companies that are linked to the Chinese military and Chinese intelligence. BHR, that private equity firm where he was put on the board and given a stake, that is estimated to be valued worth $20 million, and that deal still exists.
All very disturbing. Peter Schweizer, thanks very much for reporting on all of this. We will talk